What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Matt Corman podcast, or the new name for it is the Process Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I appreciate it. Today on the podcast, I have a good friend of mine and a longtime collaborator on the business side of things. This is Ronan from Boost Collective. Ronan, how you doing today?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm doing good, dude. You're going to bring an interesting perspective into the space because you are one of the founders of Boost Collective. Am I correct?
I am.
Yes. And you've been a part of the side of something that musicians have been trying to figure out for the longest time, which is, hey, I made a song and I'm looking to get more people to listen to it. How do I do that? How do I go from point A to point B? And correct me if I'm wrong, but Boost Collective is a platform where I make a song, I want more people to listen to it. I have these methods of doing it, like running ads, so to speak, and I want more people to hear. And Boost Collective is a platform that assists with that, right?
Exactly, dude. You got it.
Cool. Why don't you give me the breakdown on what Boost is and how it works and how you kind of came about with it for those who don't know?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure. I think your intro is amazing as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's definitely been for me the better part of like 8 years or so, really trying to figure out. Artists have been struggling with this problem for, I feel like it's the tale as old as time, right? Trying to pop off, trying to get your things to work, trying to get people to care. And to the best of our ability, obviously it's a never ending battle on, the side of a promoter just because things are always changing. But yeah, Boost, it's a fun story. It started about, give or take 8 years ago, me and my business partner, Damien, which obviously Matt knows. We met in high school. I was making YouTube videos and stuff like that, on how to get your song heard and stuff like that. I was like making EDM music. I was making the beats, FL Studio type stuff. And then, yeah, I had uploaded things to SoundCloud. This was like, prime SoundCloud rap kind of era, back in the day and stuff like that. And so I gotten some plays on some stuff. I made a video on YouTube with my little squeaker voice back in the day, trying to like, here's how you get, I didn't really even know what I was doing. But I had a few things working, and Damien found that video, and coincidentally, he lived like 7-8 minutes away from me. So we linked up at the local mall.
Super high school shit.
Yeah. And mall food court, man. That's running it up there, and the rest is kind of history. But
interesting. So I didn't know. Oh, I kind of knew that. But so you were trying to do the artist thing for like a hot minute there,
dude. I mean, to the best of I guess like a 14, 15, 16-year-old's ability.
Yeah.
But initially for sure, I wanted to be a DJ, man. I wanted to play in Ibiza.
Yeah.
I wanted to ultra, that's
yeah,
what I wanted to do.
Well, you still can. When I went up to the Boost office in Canada, you guys had a deck right in the middle though. So
yeah, we got a new spot now. And we still got it. We got a new deck.
Oh,
new
really?
Deck. Yeah, new deck, new standing desk, whole setup, speakers. Wow. Everything, man.
I'm gonna have to come by and fuck it up real quick on the ones and twos. I'm out here in Miami. I've been learning how to work the CDJs.
There you go.
Maybe I'll have to come by.
Yeah.
Cool. So and then from there, you guys. I don't want to downplay this at all. You guys have helped hundreds of thousands of artists get how many plays? Like how many plays would you say you guys have generated for these artists over the years?
That's an amazing question. I wish we were tracking or doing more kind of like estimate sort of thing, just through like, all the playlist opportunities that we've scored for artists and the ad work that we've done, everything it's gotta be in the billions.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, even just the work that we've done together alone, we've gotten millions and millions of plays. I think that this episode is going to be geared more towards musicians, probably, and artists and people in the space. And I think there's a couple misconceptions about how your platform actually works. I mean, the biggest thing, if people come by and they ask me like, I saw you on the Boost Collective site, the Boost Collective guys, and it's always kind of came from a place of negativity or skepticism. And I understand why, because in music, there's a lot of different companies out there that are reaching out and saying, hey, I can help you, or different people that are like, I can put you in a room and help X, Y, Z. But people end up losing money because it's a hard game to make money in. number one, it takes a lot to get a lot in music. And so if you don't have a lot and then you're going to be paying for a service to kind of get on a platform and get promoted, you have a big expectation, and sometimes it falls short for numerous reasons. Maybe people don't like the song. That's also, we're selling art here. You know, people have to actually like the music. But why don't we walk through how the process at Boost Collective actually works for somebody that's listening to this, that may be interested in signing up, or just an artist that's looking to kind of get their music out there? What does the process look like, and why is it legitimate?
Yeah, I love that question. It's definitely something we've been talking a lot about these days. Just as the industry is moving very much so in that direction of like, let's clean up the fraud. There's a lot of stuff happening. As you know, like over years now, there's been like, we went through this whole kind of era where you had these big rappers and you had these big artists kind of like faking the streams. You know, bring it back to the Drake and Kendrick beef. That was a big whatever conspiracy, whether it's true or false, right? And then I love how you spoke to as well, just like how sometimes things don't work for, you know, a multitude of reasons. I mean, I know you and I have worked on stuff that hasn't worked. Like,
for sure. More stuff hasn't worked than has worked.
Literally, Maddie Corman shit doesn't work sometimes. Sometimes it goes crazy. Sometimes the people just don't like it. It's just, it's very dependent on, you know what I mean, the market and how it decides. We can do the best we can. You know, we're dealing art, we're buying ads, we're whatever. But if people don't take it. But yeah, I think to get into what Boost does, we try and find opportunities for artist music wherever we can, whether that's through playlisting, whether that's through ads. Playlisting has really been like a bread and butter situation. I think a great example would be even kind of like on the more higher level one-on-one stuff. You and I, we did the Lyrical Lab playlist, which has done like about, I think, over 2 million streams total, which is really cool.
Crazy.
Just
I think
for mass music. Yeah.
And so for the people that don't know what that is, basically, I, alongside Boost Collective, we built a playlist which is just Matt Corman music throughout it, and then now we've sprinkled in more Boost Collective artists on it, because what Boost does is, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to speak for you, but you guys have the ability to build playlists, and then i.e. playlists of Matt Corman's music, run targeted ads to those playlists and target listeners that you have predetermined to like Matt Corman's kind of music, and then from there hopefully you run the ads over a long period of time, and then they stick around and they continue to listen to that playlist, and it's real fans and real listeners. Basically the idea that everybody's trying to do with ads. But the difference is that you guys specialize in this and have been doing it for such a long time and have such a great pixel and have such great data, that the idea is that you guys would be able to outperform somebody that's doing it by themselves, the artist alone.
Yeah.
I saw success with it because we did one called Lyrical Lab, and you can look at this up on my Spotify profile. It's just a picture of me and as the cover art, and we've generated millions and millions of streams. And even still, when we turned off running ads and paid promotion on it, it still continued to get streams. I've seen this with playlists that I've done for myself on a personal level too. I have a playlist called Upbeat Hip Hop. I don't spend any money, and it still gets thousands of streams every single day. And so this whole method behind, hey, let me put out a song, let me run some form of ad to it, whether it be a TikTok ad, Meta ad, whatever it is, and then hopefully get real people to listen to it, is true, and it can work. Now, sometimes it doesn't work as well, and I think that that's where people get caught up. They're like, hey, like I invested in these ads for this playlist and it didn't work out. That happens to me all the time. People are like, yo, like why, like, yo, your playlist has millions of streams. Like, why isn't mine working like this? And I don't have a real reason for it. Maybe you can speak to it more, but like that does happen too. But then you also get some wins in the middle, right? That's kind of how the idea of how it works.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's so many reasons why something won't work. And I think just managing expectations is always the most difficult thing to do as someone in the marketing space. It's like everyone wants to be that next Drake. Everyone wants to be that next Justin Bieber, whoever. But like a lot of artists, I feel like kind of struggle to do like a lot of the groundwork. And that's not to sort of shift the blame away from obviously the hard work that, you know, a promotion company like Boost Collective attempts to, you know, do for those clients.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, like that's why we can't guarantee streams. Like on the website, we don't guarantee streams. We don't, you know, we guarantee, you know, we'll pitch you, we'll try and find opportunities for your music through playlisting, or if it's the ad service, you know, we can launch an ad for you and we can do the creative for you and all that sort of stuff and some strategy. But in terms of like, will people skip it? I mean, there's like so many reasons. Like rule number one, let's see, like, well, the people first 30 seconds, did it get their attention?
Sure.
You know, no, maybe it didn't. Maybe it's something they didn't like about the artist's voice. Maybe they didn't like the production. Maybe it wasn't just like high quality enough. Like I think a good test that I like doing is like put your song next to two like major tracks. So two things coming out, like maybe it's like a Sony's biggest track, maybe it's like UMG's biggest track or whatever, in the similar genre, and then put your track in the middle and listen through it. Like actually listen to it and see what it sounds like.
Yeah.
If yours comes on, you're like, like it's, you know what I mean? Like think about consumers. I mean, consumers are listening to nothing but good music. It's not a problem that they need solving. They just open Spotify, they open whatever, they tap whatever playlist, an editorial or like a playlist they found or they've made, and they've got like nothing but hits to listen to.
Yeah, so, it's interesting. The best way to make money in this world is finding a problem and then creating a solution for that problem. Now, in the business of music business, we are creating music and we are looking to sell it to consumers, people that are prospectively listening to it. Here's the thing. There is no problem with them finding good music to listen to. So the solution that we're providing, it's not a necessity. A new artist comes around, a new Matt Corman comes around and it's like, all right, cool. This guy sounds like a Drake, G-Eazy, Tyga. Well, we already have Drake, G-Eazy, and Tyga, so I don't need to buy his product. That's generally how it works. And so I feel like people miss that point a lot of times too, where they're like, all right, like I'm not getting X amount of streams. Like it's very hard. Music's really hard. Well, yeah, we're in an industry where nobody needs to buy your fucking music. Also, nobody needs to buy your fucking music. Everything exists on these platforms, which I'm grateful for, but they return a smaller royalty rate than many other industries would if you're selling like goods or like a digital product or whatever. So that's why it's a hard industry that nobody talks about either. Because no one needs to buy your shit. And then if somebody gets an ad of your music, again, a product to something that they don't need, they're already sketched out and they don't trust it. They don't want to click it. People typically go to, now here's what I'm curious of. People typically listen to the same songs every day. Unless you're going to really discover, like me, like I listen to the same songs pretty much any day and any song that you recommend to me. And other than that, though, you get comfortable with what you're listening to. You know what I'm saying? And so anytime a new artist comes on, it takes a lot to click it. So it takes a lot to do that. And then it takes a lot to even go after an ad. You see something pushed on your phone, it's like, I'll give it a try. And then if it's not of the same quality that Post Malone just dropped, then I'm really out. And so what we need to be real about too, and I want artists to know this too, is a lot of music is bad out there that's trying to get promoted. And it's like, I'm sure you've seen a lot of bad music come through Boost Collective. And the reality is, a lot of people are like, hey, well, my ads aren't working with you guys. Well, dude, your product is not good enough. And that's the fucking truth from my perspective, at least on many of these situations. Because even my music isn't good enough in many different areas, but sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. That's because I need to get better as a product. That doesn't mean the means of delivery means it's bad. I know I'm advocating for you guys right now as I'm speaking to that, but like, it's just true. That's just what I've seen. That's what I've seen come true. But I guess what would you consider to be best practices then for artists that are looking to promote their songs that you've seen work out the best with Boost Collective?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think like just in terms of our internal like team that sifts through music and reviews it, I mean, kind of like we call it like our fulfillment division. It's a decent sized squad and they probably have listen to thousands of songs a month for sure.
What a job. He's got to listen to music.
There are people at Boost Collective that are getting pages to listen to music. Wow. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I mean, for some, it's a dream job, but then like there's so much more that goes into it. That's like, okay, this is great. I get to listen to music all day, but now it's like, where does this go? Who do I send this to? Where do I try and find an opportunity for this? And unfortunately, a lot of it that's coming through is just like as respectful as I can be, kind of just not up to standard with, what if we're being really honest, I know like we're in this massive, like, F labels movement and independence. But if you went to like a genuine A&R who it's like, this is a person that's employed by a company and that company is paying them to find talent to come and break, right? An artist to give material that's really going to work. If you shout it to that person, like, bro, they're going to turn off in like 3 seconds. So I would say, just to answer your question, I would say just the groundwork, man. I mean, what happened to the days of like actually getting good instead of taking the shortcuts?
Yeah, for sure. I had a line on my songs where I said that. Yeah, getting good, focusing on the product. Something that I like to tell people when they ask me for advice is I didn't start getting listens on my music, real listeners on my music, even though I was paying for advertising, even though I was trying to shove it down people's fucking throats. Things didn't really start to turn for me until I got better. And I could go back from 2025 Matt Corman, even in 2023, 2022, 2020, like not that long ago. Every year, I think that I've gotten better, and I've made an effort to get better at writing, at recording, mixing and mastering, everything, always trying to improve. And I've been doing this for over 10 years, and I still am not good enough. Because if I was good enough, I would have more streams. It's just the fucking truth, man. Like, it's just the truth. And then, like, I'd like to say that I'd be able to get broken by somebody and be able to blow up. And I think, and I believe that I can. But at the end of the day, 2019 Matt Corman, even if I got shown to 10 billion people, everybody on this fucking planet, I still wouldn't have blown up because the product wasn't good enough. You know what I'm saying? If the product isn't good enough, it's not going to be people aren't going to buy it, especially in a market where they don't have to buy it, as I just described. So you're in an interesting place, though, because that's your business, right? Your business is promoting artists. And so that's like, one, thank you, because that's fucking amazing. Two, it's probably hard being on your side because you're getting people are probably let down often because they're trying to sell something, like I said, that no one needs to necessarily buy. And a lot of times they're selling a bad product, and then you're in the middleman of that. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely. You've got it.
Yeah. So where's your head lay at with all that stuff where like artists may be coming at you and like saying like, hey, like, oh, you bullshitted my campaign or it didn't work, or like, hey, I wasted my money with Boost Collective. Like, what would your response be to somebody that's having trouble like that?
Yeah, for sure. I think, like I said, it's very much so managing expectations. So, I mean, before, like, because obviously the name, we're a service, and you have to market our service. And if you marketed a service in which it's like, yeah, like, guys, like, it might not work.
Yeah.
No one's going to buy that. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So it does put us in an interesting spot. And then the other problem is obviously, like, if you know anything about Boost, you've seen our ads on Instagram. Like, who hasn't been just like bombarded by Boost Collective ads?
Sure.
It's crazy. But yeah, I would say, like, we can't control as well who is like coming through and purchasing through us. I think that's like another thing was so many times, like, we've tried, like, before anyone kind of like makes a purchase or submits something to us, that like it is more of a submission process before they, but obviously that hurts conversions, and then you end up, not being able to have a sustainable business. So yeah, obviously you get quite a few artists that can come through, artists that just aren't ready for that, to be even, like, if I'm being completely honest, like, aren't ready for that next step. They're not ready to be put in front of consumers.
Yeah,
imagine it's like, imagine, I think if you flip the script, I like saying to some artists, like, imagine the live days. It's like, how'd you promote your music in like 1975? It's like, okay, well, probably showing up at like the local bar, and there's people and they're just eating food.
Yeah.
And like, there's a tiny little corner, might not even be a stage. It's like a little light. There's a microphone with a wire. And it's like, you got like a, I don't know, your little set. And then maybe you have your buddy who's like, whatever, scoping it out. But imagine like the nerves you would feel.
Yeah.
But I feel 100%. Like it's behind the computer, and it's just like a lot of these artists are at they're at 2 monthly listeners, right?
Wow. So, is that the majority of the people that come through and work with Boost Collective?
I would say like it's a good, on the consumer side. So like, obviously Boost is segmented and has multiple departments. So we've got the one-on-one side. We have the guys that kind of handle like the bigger artist campaigns, the things that kind of have a little more that go into them, like strategy, direct ads, filming, creative editing, all that stuff. And then we have like the playlisting, the whole pitching opportunity, whatever side. And then majority, like I say, like for a small artist who just wants to test the waters, like maybe try a playlist campaign, try something like that. If you're really serious and you want to like build actual like good audience that retains and everything, it's ad side is a little more costly and effective and more effective that way. So
I think that's something I want to make a point to, because people ask me about Lyrical Lab or something all the time. People ask me all the time about like, hey, how do I get like you in Spotify, right? And it's like, one, the time it takes is long. How long have we had the Lyrical Lab playlist up for? We've been working on that playlist for 2 years now. More?
It's been maybe a year and 8 months or so.
8 months, something like that. Yeah. And we tried other things before that too. And so you're talking about artists that come through with 2 monthly listeners. I mean, if you have under 10,000, to me, you're just starting out, So it's like, people are like, man, I want to have 1 million monthly listeners. It's like, bro, you have 3 songs. Also, let's pay attention to this. When you're running ads to a product in a store, you don't go to Walmart and they just have one fucking Spalding basketball and a pair and one shoes. They have a bunch of products, right? And unless you have a highly like a designer store that does drops. Like let's call like Louis Vuitton or something. Let's do Supreme because they do drops. You go to Supreme store, there's like 5 things to buy, right? And they drive all this traffic there, and you know the 5 things that you're gonna buy. If you're a new artist and you have this store that nobody has been to before, and all this music in there that no one's seen before, and you only have 2 songs available for people to buy, there's only 2 opportunities for people to actually pay attention to purchase what they want. Versus when we ran ads on my campaign with you, I have about 300 songs across the place. So it's easier to generate more listeners and easier to make people become a fan because I have a song for multitude of customers amongst different demographics. But these artists come to you, and I'm getting passionate because it annoys me because it happens to me too. They come and they're like, hey man, I have 10 songs out. I want 10 million monthly listeners and I want to go on tour with Jack Harlow. And it's like, that's great. I love that, right? But the thing is, you don't have enough products in your store, and your products aren't good enough, too. So now, when the two songs are available and no one's listening to them and nobody likes them because they're not good enough, you're gonna get pissed off because you didn't end up with millions of streams, but you didn't deserve millions of customers yet because you don't have even enough customers. So that's something else I've realized too, is like a lot of people just don't have enough music out there. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think for your campaign, obviously, like you're in a special kind of group or category of artists that do have a good amount of material out. And so I think the best, like in terms of a custom playlist and building that sort of thing, like usually we do that for a label because they have catalog size like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1,000 songs, right? Matty Corms has a shitload of songs, and that's why it works. But yeah, I think as well, like, I mean, yeah, it just really depends, man. I think if obviously like you're more of a plant situation, you know what I mean? Not saying that's good or bad, but if someone who's backed and like you've been like, let's say like there's a lot of artists that used to have a lot of material out and then like it just disappears, new artist name, 1 song goes insane. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, there's probably a lot of resource towards that. So I think it's just dependent on the like scenario and what it is. But yeah, generally you make more music, you're gonna get better. Like it is what it is.
Yeah, you get shots up.
Yeah, 100%. And then,
I mean, how long have you guys been doing this company for, the Boost Collective company? How long has it been going on for?
It's been like 8 years, bro.
8 years, and I would say that you guys didn't start getting really good until the recent years, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with any company or anything that you're building. You need time in the market. Like you need time to understand ads, and you need time to do stuff and to focus on it fully. Like I needed time. I needed years, 8 to 10 years to work on just my music, and things are just working out now. You know what I mean? Like things are like just making me a professional now. And I look at you guys, and it's like I feel like every year you're growing and you're learning. You were helping artists do short form clips to try to get into the short form space because short form clips are obviously ruling the music industry. There was a statistic that came out that it was like 90% of the number 1 hits in 2024 were TikTok viral hits. And so what were you guys doing to branch into that space? And are you guys still doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's super interesting. There's been a lot of things in the promotion space that have kind of gotten a little bit of traction. There's like the whole clipping thing. There's the content like spamming.
Yeah. The videos like with the text and the lyrics, like all those stuff. Yeah.
Bait and switches, like all that sort of thing. I would say like the main thing that I see has just held strong are obviously like not speaking on the music, just purely like marketing it. It's got to be just like still ads, man. For me, at least, it's ads. I mean, if you can do the whole influencer thing really, really well and for cheap, which is very difficult, I would say now, to kind of like build a chain reaction between getting like a bunch of influencers to post stuff. That's also incredibly effective. I think like there's tons of things that are gonna, bode well and drive traffic to the music. You just gotta like really get good at one good thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think a good example of that is a guy like Connor Price. It's like he figured out from his acting background that if he does these types of skits, they really work. It's the same thing like anything you get. And then the hedgehog theory. Have you heard of the hedgehog theory before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I mean, you guys are doing it, but there's a study done, and I might be butchering this right now, but they looked at the best performing companies in the world, the Walmarts of the world and everything. And then they compared it to other companies that weren't performing that well. And what they realized is a lot of these companies were focusing on getting good at one thing. And the hedgehog theory is that they just focus on the hedgehog just focuses on just one thing. Just getting good at one thing. For example, what I did with music that worked for me is I figured out what was actually getting plays and getting downloads, and that was my upbeat songs that had a vocal chop in the background, 105 BPM, literally every one of these songs behind me, and sound like a Tyga Drake type song, and me rapping upbeat worked. And then I just made a bunch of those songs and released them every single week over and over again and kept delivering that product, and I still am to this day. You guys honed in on like, hey, like you didn't try to be like, you know, the music video people. You didn't try to be the like have Boost Collective be a media outlet, like a magazine. You said, hey, in terms of promotion, we're going to focus on getting really good at ads. And that's what happens. The best artists and the best companies, the best performers in the world just get really good at one thing, to what you said. So long rant for saying that.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. And in terms of like actually finding promotion, it's like when I started doing the comedy videos and doing The Worst Guy in Miami, I did one of those videos and I was like, all right, cool, that worked. And then I was like, cool, I'm going to stick on that. Then I did a reel a day for fucking 45 days because I was like, this works. I'm going to hammer it home. And then I went on tour and was like, all right, cool, like come back to being a rapper. But the point is, to your theories, I also feel like a lot of people do something well and then they change up. Like they'll make a song that people respond to and then they'll change up. They're like, ah, man, I want to make rock music now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot of that. That's interesting. What are some things that you've learned along the way of building this company? I feel like people don't understand how big Boost is too, and like speak to the team and like what you guys have. Like you have your own office over there. Like I was really impressed when I went up to Canada and saw everything.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, damn, that old office, man. I'm glad to kind of be out of there. Older vibe, whatever. I think my vibe is more just like clean, like just white paint. I know I'm behind or in front of a dark gray, but
yeah. What's it like over there? Is it? I mean, the office was sick though. You guys were like right away from that little downtown area. That was cool.
Yeah. No, we had a good time that night for sure. This one's way nicer. We're right in the heart of downtown, right by the water, which is really cool. So,
you can see the CN Tower, can't you?
Yeah. You can see that. You can see the islands.
Nice. Is it red tonight?
Is it red tonight? Usually it's like red every single day, man.
Usually really? It's mostly red?
Yeah. Well, not always. It like pulses through. So like it's got like a bunch of presets, which is really cool. But yeah, the team is super sick. We've got about like 15 here in office. We've got like, it's pretty diverse squad, I would say, just like in terms of, you know, age and experience and who it is here. We've got young people. We've got industry vets. Our head of fulfillment is super cool. He used to be pretty high at Sony Music and everything. So yeah, I mean, it's just, I think just a wealth of knowledge definitely exists at Boost. And then of course we have another squad that isn't in the office that does like, they're more remote. And they do a lot of like the listening and the sorting and curating and stuff like that.
Yeah. What where are you guys at in terms of like, let's talk more from the business angle. I know a lot of people listening to this, like talking about financials and just entrepreneurship in general. You've been running a successful company for 8 years and you're young, right? Like, I mean, like how old are you? You're not even 30, right?
Yeah. I'm 24. So
yeah, you're 24. That's hilarious. It's like, it's like 8 years ago. Like when you started this, you were just like a kid necessarily, like out of high school.
Yeah, dude, it's weird. Yeah, no, I think it's super cool. I think it's just like, man, like even, I mean, you know this, like, get out of your hometown. I guess unless you were born in the heart of LA or like the heart of New York or something crazy. But yeah, I mean, a lot of us we're not from an area where you can just like DM someone, link up at lunchtime in an hour, like make a new friend, and then boom, that changes. Like just a lot of people aren't in that position. You know what I mean? I know a lot of them. But it's insane.
Yeah. How do you go through being 24 years old, having a company that I'm not sure what it's worth or what you built it towards, but how do you manage a company on this scale, having 15 employees and bringing in all this revenue and then like trying to keep things afloat? Like, how do you manage that? Yeah,
I mean, you do and you don't, I would say. I mean, you leave it to people you can trust. I would say, like, obviously shout out Damien. Don't know what I'd do without Damien, amazing business partner, co-founder.
Legend.
And yeah. And then it's just like, obviously those executives that you bring aboard, you know, it's those people that have had experience, the people that you value, that you don't underpay, that really, really carry the weight of a lot of like really heavy responsibility, I would say. People are like actually very serious. I think music is something that inherently feels unserious sometimes. Right?
Yeah. Well, it's entertainment.
Yeah. And I mean, I know, especially living in Miami, like there are so many people that are, they're hitting licks, but they're not
Yeah.
taking things as serious. And it's like, there's a rude awakening for some of these. I've seen it come and go, even in 8 years, like people I was really trying to work with, and you
Hmm.
realize there's not much going on under the hood of a
Oh
lot of these
yeah.
people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
How many
then,
times have you ran into situations where it's like I've seen an artist or something I was
yeah,
excited about being a part of, and
all
I'm
the
like,
time.
or even business ventures are in my head where I'm like, oh wait, I know this person now, like sick,
You know
they're
the
moving.
craziest thing, bro, I'm sure is like the YouTuber stuff. So like some of the YouTubers, and like let's say it's like the brands they're working with or like specific companies. And then like you finally kind of get into a circle, and then like, oh, I know these guys too. And I'm like, dude, I love those guys. I want to check it out. And then you go and they have like this like tiny box office and like whatever. You're like, this is the, you know what I mean? What
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
funny seeing
Yeah.
what, you know what I mean sometimes, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, when you peek under the hood, man, I always was hoping that if people were to come meet me, they'd be
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I understand why Matt Corman is where he's at." I
I
always
get it.
want people to, I want people to pull up and be like, "Oh, okay, like I get it. This kid's just like really outworking me." That's what I want people to feel like, okay, there's a different system. Because there's many times I pulled up to situations where I'm like, all right, this person has millions of subscribers. This person's like the person, right? And then I'm looking at their
Yeah.
operation and I'm like, why you guys are unorganized, you guys have no money, like you guys are just like doing drugs, and like I'm
Yeah.
just like, damn, I need to step up my game. Because that's what happened to me, bro. I remember, shout out Justin Stone, he was putting out a ton of songs when I met him, and virtually met him, and he had this whiteboard in the background, like right here. He had a little whiteboard set up, and he was doing a song every week for like ever. And he's
Mhm.
the one who changed my life, because I saw how he was working. He had the song name, then he had like record, mix, master, artwork, and the date it was going to come up, and he organized it, obviously like just normal fucking business, but he was viewing it as a business. And then that made me realize, I'm like, oh, I need to step up how hard I work at music. And that changed my life. Who are some other people in the space though that are in the Boots Collective type of lane? Also, like, what are the competitors to you guys, and like who else is out there like crushing it, or like maybe not? I actually don't really know anybody, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think like, I mean, there's obviously a few of them. One of the OGs, like you have like your Submit Hubs and stuff like that.
Oh
And,
my gosh, yeah, that's a throwback, man. Are they still
and
around?
yeah, of course, they're still
No,
killing.
shit.
They're building a lot of cool tools. Actually, they have a really cool ad tool. They've got
Sweet.
cool, yeah. Um, I'd say Playlist Push as well.
Mm.
Definitely, those guys are cool. Members Media is cool. There's a few pretty cool competitors, man. I think there's some cool people doing
Why
some
don't you
cool
guys
stuff.
all just tag up together, right? Make a conglomerate and just sell to to a VC, and then just go fuck off to like the Bahamas.
Literally, bro, make it happen. Make it happen. Oh, it's interesting. I think it's just because like you just never know what people are doing. You know what I mean? Like I think it's been mitigated now. I think like obviously there's like organizations and the distributors are taking it very seriously, and obviously Spotify themselves, which is amazing. But like, dude, like 3-4 years ago, do you remember how many like random like scammy looking like
God,
companies, weird like
yes.
services and people's
Yes,
numbers going crazy?
I paid them all.
You know what I mean? Literally, but yeah, it's crazy. And now it's just like that problem has widely pretty much been cleaned up, I would say.
Yeah.
Obviously there's still a lot of work to do and things happening, but yeah, thankfully I mean, it's better for us. Like you want obviously the game to be as clean as it possibly can, and the people that are doing great work to shine. So
Yeah, the real rise to the top too. Like, I think that just shows true always. Even in music, I've been doing it for so long that I've seen so many artists that just aren't even around anymore. But a lot of times they were in it for the wrong reason. They were in it for whatever reason they were. Maybe they wanted to be popular. They wanted to be the cool kid in high school or whatever it was. But the people that were really into it and are still doing it became successful. And similar to you guys, like you guys have been legitimately doing music promotion for 8 years now, and it's like you're one of the top people in the building. And there's been a lot of like, that's why I can't even think of their names, because I feel like every other day at one point, like 2018-ish, there was a new playlisting company that was coming around, which then made it hard to trust playlisting companies. That's probably a lot of the reason why you guys may get pushback, is because there was an influx of so many scammy companies that
can't blame it. Yeah,
I don't know.
I can't blame it.
It just made it difficult,
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely.
What's the next so like what's the next play for you guys? Like what's the vision set for 2026? I mean, we're almost all the way through 2025. So like what does that look like for you?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up 2025 strong for sure. We always do like a big Black Friday thing, try and offer our best pricing on stuff. So definitely, it's a good time to buy from Boost if like you're looking for kind of like the playlisting stuff on a smaller scale. I think just for us, like in 2026, just really honing in on what works, doubling down, more like R&D stuff. I think just like expanding our creative team, more strategy. Yeah, like I think I'm very, very bullish on like a song's ability to do well when it's paired with a great visual, with a great, creative and a story. So, I mean, for me, I think it's just like getting those bigger case studies. Obviously, it's crazy. Like once you get to a spot, like it's just like a never ending mountain, bro. It's what I mean.
I feel you right now, man. It just whenever you're building something, you'd think at one point it's like I remember some guy said the other day to me. He was like, bro, he's like, what do you even do all day? Like you just like put out songs that come out. Like what do you even do all day? And I'm like, bro, from 8 a.m. when I wake up to 8 p.m. when I get off this fucking computer, I'm on the computer or I'm going to the gym. That's it. Like I'm working all day long. He's like, what do you even work on? You're just making music. And I'm like, bro, creating the music is 1% of my job. I haven't recorded a song in months and I'm still dropping a song every fucking week. I think that there's a misdirection of like how to work also in the music world too. And especially for artists. Artists are spending a lot of their time like, man, I went to the studio. And it's like, I went to the studio this week. It's like, bro, like, but what about anything? What about like shooting music videos? What about capturing lead data and fans too? Like I use a phone number that I text all my fans and capturing in their location so that next time I go out on tour. What about networking with the booking agents? What about talking to guys like Ronan over at Boost Collective and developing a relationship and learning what they're doing there so you can promote the music? And then what about anything? I just feel like that's where a lot of artists are falling short though. And that's another reason why their music isn't getting heard because they kind of stop. You remember how like after high school, well, like you went from high school to this. You went to college though, right? No, you didn't go to college. So imagine after high school, there was no college. Let's say this is a good example. You didn't go to college, right? But I feel like your education didn't stop. You started a business and you've gotten smarter every year and you're learning, right? There are many people that graduate high school. And then let's say they go to college and then like, let's say they get a job or whatever, their education in the world just kind of stops because then they end up getting into this role, this entry level position where they're taught things in that first 1 to 2 years after college is hard because they're learning things and it's a challenge. And then after that, they're like 22-ish. They stop learning completely and they stop getting better and focusing on educating themselves at all. Artists do the same fucking thing. They basically learn, hey, all I need is this microphone, all I need is a Focusrite, and all I need is Logic, and I can pay this guy for a mix and master, I make the song, and then that's it. And then I promote it X, Y, and Z ways. And that's, I think, a huge problem too, where it's like we're talking about you, and we're talking about Boost Collective, and we're talking about like, how do I get my music heard actually, is also adjusting with the times. TikTok didn't even exist when I first started making music. The short form clips didn't even fucking exist. Podcasting wasn't as popular. Now, my fans, my real hardcore fans, this only gets this gets thousands of listens, but the video, like I started this new YouTube channel, so it doesn't get that many views, whatever. But like, they pay attention, man. It's like even having a podcast medium, it's like it builds trust. It builds like, oh, I can sit and listen to this person talk for an hour. Like, great. Now I know who they are. Like for Boost Collective, for example, it's like, imagine how and I don't know if you guys do, I need to look at it more, but like if you guys had a podcast or maybe you do have stuff you guys talk long form on. Do you, by the way? Do you have something
No. Alex for sure has been like on my ass, bro. Like,
he told you about Podgo? Dude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, okay, got it. Okay. I didn't know he told you that. Well, to that point, I started doing the podcasting more and I'm realizing like I'm selling more merch from it just from, and like barely even promoting because people are creating that in-depth thing. And it's like, because it takes away all the barriers and all the walls. And that's what a lot of artists don't do. A lot of artists are being too mystique nowadays. You know what I mean? Where it's like hard to get to know them and be their friends. But yeah, dude, what's give some advice out there for some artists out there right now that like a lot, like as a consumer too, because you're a fan of music. Like, what do you want to see more out of artists that is going to be beneficial to them in 2025, 2026 moving forward?
Yeah, I think like just because I feel like half of my time is really in that realm of that independent artists and guys that are really, really trying to come up. I would say I'm just going to keep, shouting this from the top of the mountain, man. It's just development. I think there's been so many times as well. I've even just told artists, I'm like, go look at what like Matty Corman is doing. Like,
For real?
bro is, yeah,
Let's
dude. I mean,
fucking
like,
go.
no, it's like, how many times? Because it's like, dude, you have this guy. He's not signed to a label, right? He has over 1 million monthly listeners. He sustains it. Like, there's no like big money going behind Matty Corman streaming every day. Like, it's just not, that isn't the case. You're touring. You set up tours basically pretty much on your own. Obviously, like, I know you've done like tons of tours. I think the first time like we hung out in Toronto was on the Lil Xan show, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like it's the work ethic is crazy, and I don't think people really realize that, and the development is crazy. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that.
And the things that just go on, that go into like how do you build up even some of your revenue streams beyond just the music. Obviously, the music is why Matt Corman exists, but it's just like there's a lot of brand stuff work. You know what I mean? Like there's constant ideation of content and videos.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that, like, dude, I'm only getting like 5,000 views in this video. Yeah, but that's like still like 5,000 people, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can still make an impact with those 5,000 people, which could turn into more if it was like, let's say, even better content. But there's still like, it's just, like it's called in business, like segmentation of an audience, right? Like how strong is that audience? How warm are those people? It's always that like, small percent, sub 10% that are converting on any given thing you post about, talk about, advertise. So yeah, I think it's just really like artists don't even really start at like that like, I forget what it's called, but like, in school when it was like the who, like why, what, where, when scenarios, people don't even do that. I'm like, what's your story? They're like, I don't know. I'm just trying to make it, bro. I'm just trying to
great point, right? It's the who. It's like something I learned in sales too. It's when you're reaching out to people, it's who the fuck are you? Why should I pay attention to you? And what do you have to tell me? It's like, hey, I'm Matt Corman. That's who I am. I'm a professional musician. Okay, cool. Why should I listen to you? I have 500 million streams and I've done it independently and I fully live off of this and I help other people get that to this level as well. Okay, what the fuck do you want from me? Okay, cool. I have this package that I'm looking to sell you and I'm trying to tell you how the fuck you're going to get into the next biggest artist. And this is just hypothetical what I would be selling. But then now you have an idea of like, all right, who this kid is, why he's credible, and then what does he actually want in the conversation? Boom. Who, what, and why. I feel like so many artists have no idea who they are, what the fuck, like what the fuck they're selling, and why people should listen to them. I know exactly why people should listen to me. Like if you're a consumer, I can say right now, if you already walk into me, who I am is Matt Corman, you could see, hey, why you should listen to me. And I know this because I've had hundreds of voicemails tell me of these fans of why they listen to my music, and there's a trend behind it, which is people are motivated and they feel like they can accomplish shit. They got the 9-to-5 like life and they're trying to get out of it and be motivated. That's who my demographic is. Anywhere that 21-year-old to like 30-year-old hustler just out of college. I'm now learning, but it took me 10 years to get here. And from listening from my fans, and now I know, okay, cool. That's who they are, and that's what I'm selling to them is that motivation. That's what I'm giving to them, and you should listen to me because I have all these credentials to prove that other people have listened to it and gotten this type of feeling from it. A lot of these artists are just putting out their product, and their name is like Xylo, and they put out there's probably a Xylo out there that thinks I'm tripping them, and they put out a song called Xylo, you know what I mean, by him, like Xylo Speaks, and then it's like, I don't even know who the fuck you are. They have a mask on. Why should I listen to him? I don't know. You sound like Juice WRLD. I already have Juice WRLD, and what the fuck is it? And it's like nothing. So I think that people run into that problem a lot, like what you're saying. It's like if I were to look at Boost Collective, I feel like you guys are able to tell who you guys are, what you do, and why we should pay attention to it.
100%. 100%. Yeah, those are great points. I mean, like, I think like people kind of get lost within that kind of bridge that they have to walk over, where it's like, okay, like, why am I doing this? The why is always like, cool, it's fun. Like instinctually, when you catch that music bug, you can't really get rid of it. Like anyone who's in music, like kind of like it kind of just chooses them, but like they choose it at the same time, and it's just like this you know what I mean? Like you can't really leave it. Once you're in music, you never even really leave it. I don't know. It's like even like, whether it's like Jay-Z or something like that. Like Jay-Z's making a lot of money. That's not in let's say his own recorded music sales. He's probably making a ridiculous amount of money off everything else he's doing. That's literally not his music recordings. But I mean, he's still popping on, like, he'll still do a verse, he'll still do a feature. Like, it just, you can't get rid of that music bug. So I think it's just, they're walking this bridge of like, okay, well, instinctually music is fun. It's fun to make. It's great. right? But like to get to the other side is they're kind of in this thing they don't really know. They're like, you know what, like this is fun, so I would love to do it full time. But you know, I'm not really, you know, I think I should be professional, but obviously, like I said, it's just the development. It's like they're not building correctly. They're not taking those steps. And they're not really taking a step back and going, wait a sec, why am I like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? And that's not to discourage anyone. Like music is fun. It should be fun to make music. When it's not fun anymore, then like you're not putting out great stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's insane, dude. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. I think that a takeaway for people should be, if you're in this far into the end of the episode, is you should figure out who you are. And especially if you're an artist, and especially if you're trying to sell anything, and if you're an artist, stop viewing it as just like, I'm just a creator. It's like, well, do you want to make money or not? Because I'll tell you right now, I've made money in music and I've done well for myself, but I always viewed it as a business. And I feel like most artists that view it as a business can be successful from it. Similar to what you're doing. There's tons of people out there that are trying to promote their friends' music, but they're not making it a fucking $1 million company like you are, right? But you viewed it as a business. You at first were an artist, and then you're like, all right, I really am a fan of music. You love music. I know you love music. You light up every time you fucking talk about it. You know every new artist on the market and everything, right? And you were like, how do I turn this into a business? And you were able to do it. That's super inspiring. But you always viewed it as such, and defining on what Boost does. Like how many times has Alex brought you guys an idea and you're like, you mold over and you're like, oh yeah, but that's just not Boost. Like that's not us, right? Yeah. And same here with him, right? Because he's the ideas guy. But it's special because you need those guys too. You got to hear them out, and then it's like, all right, cool, but like, no, Mac, I don't think that's for me. Same with you guys, and that's all right because we're viewing them as a business. But I feel like a lot of these artists, and I feel like a lot of these artists, they don't know who the fuck they are yet. You know, and that because it's like, how are people supposed to listen to you if they don't know who you are, who you even are, right? Like, what's that saying? It's like, how do you expect people to believe in you if you don't even believe in yourself? It's like, how do you expect people to listen to your music if like you can't even define what the fuck your music is? Like, I don't even know. If you can't walk up to somebody and say, how do I word this correctly? I would say this: if you can't walk up to somebody in an elevator, like an elevator pitch, and give them your elevator pitch on who you are as an artist and why people should listen to you and what it is, then you should start there. You should start by bringing out a journal and then figuring out exactly how you would define what the fuck you are and are selling. And that's, I think artists, it would help them become more successful.
I really just want to speak as well, just to like, kind of like on the outside looking in, just in terms of like, before even we met and stuff like that. And I obviously like, I'd heard of you, and I think it's just interesting to see like, cause I'm always asking, I mean, a business, its most valuable thing. I want people to know this is like, kind of, how did you hear about us? Like, have you seen that? Like, you ever signed up to anything and it's always like, how did you hear about it? Was
interesting? Yeah. Why do they ask that? Yeah.
They ask it because it's just simply attribution. So it's like, where are we spending money? And on a lot of traditional advertising, whether it's like, let's say like a TV commercial or a billboard or something physical, or word of mouth or whatever it is, there's things you can't track and you don't know how to attribute like what source it is, right? So it's like, I spent money here. How do I know? So if enough people come and tell me, hey, like I heard you guys from like this show, it's also like organic marketing. So things that like, let's say you didn't even set up, like let's say it's this podcast. Let's say this podcast goes viral because like 1 million views and I wasn't even like tracking the metrics for that podcast. Maybe it's because obviously like I can't see podcast plays. You can see them on your back end. But let's say it goes viral. And then we just get a ton of orders, or like I get reached out to by a bunch of artists. I'm like, what is happening? Like, we're not spending more on ads. Like, we didn't buy like some crazy, we didn't run a Super Bowl ad. We didn't do anything crazy like that. Like, how are we getting these customers? It's like, if you had that thing, it's like, how'd you hear about us? Oh, like a Matt Corman's podcast. Boom. Attribution. Now I know, I should probably go on more podcasts or whatever it is, right? It's just a signal at the end of the day. I really want to speak to like even just kind of like how, obviously I saw you, it was multiple things. I think it's interesting because obviously I'm in music. And so I had actively been, seeking music content. And step one was obviously like Kyle's videos, Kyle Beats videos, shout out Kyle Beats. Obviously you've been like a long time collaborator of Kyle, good friends with him. That's a touch point. And then it's like, it got weird when I was like, obviously like, when you're kind of, a young guy or whatever, you're probably watching a Nelk video. You're probably watching like Steve Will Do It when he still had a YouTube channel. Yeah. What's going on here, dude? Matty Corman on my screen again, bro? Is not with Kyle Beats. This time he's chilling with friggin' like Steve and like 6ix9ine's manager and like what? And then it's like the actual Nelk video. And then I'm watching like the Wine video from back in the day. Cause like the thing about like, let's say for Nelk or whatever, they were from where, I'm from, right? So it was like, oh, there's like a sense of pride of like, yeah, I want Nelk to succeed. So I'm watching every single Nelk video. And then Word to the Wise is in like the video, and obviously that's like an incredibly catchy song. And as you know, it just takes like one placement of like an outlet. How did you hear about us? Types like scenario, right?
Yep.
To get a shitload of new fans, right?
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like, I think like obviously like not everyone has a YouTuber friend that is just dominating their space, but it's like once you're aligning with other people and stuff like that, it leads to another guy and then to another guy. And when you hit it off, like you guys will collaborate and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it's just like that discovery is really, really exciting. And one thing in your path, which is I feel like why every single time you drop and you get 10,000 streams first friggin' day is because like the people have been there with you and they've heard what you're saying in the music, sure, for years, but they've seen the progression, the journey. And it's that, I think it's like that one video Kyle made, which kind of goes over your journey. You know what I mean? Like I remember I was on the phone with Kyle and he's like, bro, you gotta watch this because like, video kind of ends on that note of like Matt's journey and how far he came and all that stuff. So it's like, there's that, like you're saying, like with the podcast, there's another touch point in which people are spending more time with you and they're like, dude, Matt Corman, like, I don't know the guy, but like, I just feel like I'd be boys with that guy.
Yeah. Dude, that's like a thing that people have said to me. They're like, man, I like so many people follow my stuff have said when they meet me, they're like, man, I didn't even like, I already knew I was going to fuck with you in person just because of like all the content out there.
That's what I said.
That's
what I said before I met you. And then you fucking DM me, bro. Like, 3 years ago or something. I'm like, bruh, like, what is this full circle moment?
Yeah.
Funniest story. Like, I remember DMing Alex. Everyone doesn't know Alex is Matt's manager. And like, I was trying to get like buy features or whatever for tracks I was trying to work on A&R. And Alex was like 10K, bro. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I was like that.
I don't even know if he ran that one by me. Damn.
And I think I just like, I ghosted him. And then like full circle, I was like, well, damn, looking at my phone, Matty Corman DM.
Look who's coming back now. Yeah, that dude. And I think that was during when we were trying to do the barracks. We were like, all right, cool. We have this idea for artists. And then we ran into a situation where we probably ran into something that you've been familiar with, was just like, one, artists are broke. Two, a lot of times they don't know what the fuck they're doing or what they want even. And so it's like, felt like impossible. And I'm like, damn, we were trying to do something that's fun. And then like, yeah, obviously we wanted to generate revenue down the line, but I just lost like 30 grand doing it because of like ads and like setting it up and everything. And I remember like, we had so many people in there for free that people were complaining that some people paid. And then I'm like, dog, you paid fucking $4. Like, and I'm like, I made a whole guide that was like 40 minutes long and it literally explaining exactly what I did and what they can do. And people were like not watching it. And they're like, well, what do I do here? And I'm like, did you watch it? And they're like, nah, not yet. LOL. And I'm just like, what are we here for? Because I come from a background too, like a corporate background where that shit didn't fly. It's like if you like, I used to work at Toast, like now a multi-billion-dollar company. You can't just be in the room and you can't just like be like, oh yeah, like I'm trying to be an artist, like I'm trying to fucking sell, learn how to sell toast. It's like when they ask you, be like, all right, cool, like define the product that you're selling to me, and you're just like, I'm gonna look over it soon. It's like, bro, you're out. You know what I mean? Like that's not how big things are built. And like I feel like a lot of artists too. It's like that's what we were trying to do too. And we realized, I'm like, yo, fuck this. These people don't want to learn. Like we were trying to sell education to artists. They don't want to learn. So it's like, also,
I was going to say, education and artists, like,
they don't want to know.
I feel like that's why a lot of artists are artists. They're like, F school, I'm doing my thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, it was interesting. But like, dude, I don't want to take up too much of your time. You've always been fucking great to me, dude, and I believe in what you guys are doing, and I wholeheartedly support it, dude. Like Boost Collective always been great to me, and yeah, dude, I just congrats on all your success and everything. Being so young, dude, you're 24. It's like, dude, that's fucking amazing. Like you should be really proud of yourself. What you and Damien have built, it's fucking incredible, and you guys are great guys. You know what I mean? I hope to see you soon up in Canada. You know,
dude, 100%. Gotta have you here. Like, gotta get you in a show or something, bro.
Yeah, come on, let's do a Boost Collective festival, man.
That'd be sick, bro. Maybe it's in the cards next summer. OVO Fest. Where's OVO Fest? Where's the, why hasn't it been revived, bro?
I haven't talked to the big man in a little bit. It was his birthday the other day. I mean, we were chatting, but like, I don't know. Have you seen him out at all? Like, you guys still talking?
Dude, 100%, dude. We go, just kidding. I actually saw Drake in Manchester. I did like a cool last summer. I went to the UK. It was dope. Really great show.
Wow.
One of those last like EU UK like kind of shows, which was really cool. So yeah,
that's sick, man. Yeah,
deeper to see him there than here, dude. At home here, oh my goodness, dude, burn your wallet.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right here. I'm going to tour in Europe in March. I'm doing my first Europe thing over there. You guys should pop out for a show over there and just make a little trip out of it.
I would love to, man. I would love to. I was supposed to be in Amsterdam. We usually go out for like the Amsterdam Dance Event thing. It's like a big conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, like way too much work. Got some cool things we're working on, so couldn't get out. So let's do it.
Well, good, dude. All right, cool, man. That is Ronan from Bruce Collective. Any final thoughts?
Dude, no. Just keep hustling, keep working hard, and learn.
Yeah. Educate yourself, motherfuckers. All right. Thanks for listening to the Process Podcast. Hope you guys have a great week. Peace.